I'm Gold Derby editor Daniel Montgomery here with Marlon Wayans, who this year has premiered a comedy special, God Loves Me, and guest hosted The Daily Show. We're here to talk about both, but let's start with God Loves Me because Gold Derby is an awards focused website, and here you've crafted a special that tells a very personal story through the lens of the infamous Oscar slap. At what point did you realize that that moment could be the conduit for you to tell a larger story?
Uh, Oddly enough, like as soon as it happened, it was like when Chris got slapped, I felt it. And it just like it took me through time. It was kind of like everything everywhere all at once. That's how, like for me, it was like an out of body, but in the body experience. First of all, I just couldn't believe it. I thought I was dreaming. And then the history, I talked about it one night in Oxnard. I was doing a show that weekend, Oxnard Improv, and Levity Dive. And I just had to talk about it. And I started out, I had like just 5 minutes of thoughts. And by the end of the weekend, I had 20 minutes of solid jokes. So I just kept exploring it. Like I was working on a special about my mom, because dealing with my mom's passing, called Good Grief. And I had to put it to the side. I was like, I love you, mama, but this right here, I got to do this, because it just kept writing itself. And I didn't have to sit down and write. I went on stage and I performed I wrote it in front of a crowd of people watching me, and they had no idea. And it was weird because normally you do a special, you kind of write it out, you card it out, you know where you're going, and then you perform it for like a year and a half. This one I wrote on a stage with people watching, improvising, telling absolute butt naked truth in all vulnerability and in all appreciation of God and the journey that I went on, and each one of those people and what they meant in my life as my friends. And it just kind of all came together, right? And I had this set about the slap, and it's kind of bifurcated because it's about my mom. So I was like, I love you, mama, but I'm gonna pull this out. I mean, I did the Netflix is a Joke special. I think that was like in June. I had this bifurcated set. And when I took that out, I was like, I think I have a whole hour on this. And I just did it. I filmed it by August. So the slap happened March 27th. By August 7th, I had filmed the special in Atlanta. And then it just took me a couple of months to cut it together, and then to get a partner like HBO to sign on to distribute it. But it's kind of like unheard of that normally you craft a special. It takes like a year and a half, 2 years before this one. I swear to you, it was like God was the writer and I was a pen, and there was nothing else. And when I showed it to my brothers was just like, the first, they're haters. I love them, but it's because they love me so much and they have such grand expectations. And it's hard to make two people that's been in the industry and are scientists at their art for so long laugh, So I know if I can make them laugh, I'm on to something. And Damon saw it first, and Damon was like, that was brilliant. I never saw that done before. And then Keenan saw it and goes, Damon was right. And you changed the game. I never seen that done before either. I never seen somebody take one topic and do a whole special and me not get bored. Or just to attempt that. And that made me feel good. And then the audience response was, you work 50 years for a response like that. Yeah.
And you're also a very physical comedian, and that comes through in the special. How physically taxing does it get, like doing that routine for an hour?
I'm still sore. That's why I was like, I think I gotta film this. If I do this for 2 years, I don't know if I'm gonna make it. It was taxing because, you know, I would go in the crowd, I was going back and forth. It was cardio, like it really was like, and I work out religiously, right? Like I work out 5 days a week, 6 days a week, just to stay ready because I don't know what film I'm gonna do. I don't know what TV show. I know my set is sometimes exhausting, and I just want to be ready. But this one, I really needed to work out to be ready just for this performance. So yeah, I'm glad I was ready because, and I'm also glad that I filmed it in 3 or 4 months because if I'd have done this for a year, I'd have. This next stand-up special, I'm gonna sit down. It's not called stand-up. It's called sitting down with Marlon Wayans. But it's not that I was being physical just to be physical. I was being animated based on the story, based on what the character was going through. I think what was different about this is that it had all the themes and tropes of a like a movie, like the hero's journey. It's like this character that wants something. He has this elixir, and the elixir is fame, and the elixir is success, and it's the girl, and all those things he never gets. But what he really finds is love of self, and that you are successful, that in your journey, no matter where you go, as long as you're working toward it, you are successful. It reminded me of one of my favorite books, which is Paulo Coelho's, book, The Alchemist. Because in The Alchemist, it's a little boy that wants to see the pyramids. In the book, he's never seen the pyramids, but he's on his way to see the pyramids. And I always looked at myself as a little boy trying to see the pyramids in terms of Hollywood. You know, we all dream to be the biggest star in the world, the greatest stand-up ever, and, you know, all these GOAT terms and things that you want, but you realize that as long as you're working toward it, you're crafting exactly who you're going to be. As long as you never turn back, as long as you never stop. In this journey called life, there's things you can't control. You can't control if you're going to get the girl or not. You will find love, but maybe that love isn't for you. And I felt like the elixir for my character, Marlon, in the special was an elixir for the audience. You know what I mean? It's like sometimes the hero never gets it, but the audience gets the jewel. They get and it's like everybody's life is meaningful. Everybody's journey is meaningful. Everything you go through in your life isn't bad. It's not happening to you. You got to believe it's happening for you. And most of all, smile. Like I've learned, like in my stand-up, I just want people to feel good. Because I've had a hard, like these last 3 years for me, it's been very hard. Losing my mom, losing my dad, lost 55 friends that I loved, you know, COVID, all that. But yet, I'll still sit on the stage and I find smiles, and I remind the audience to find smiles. Stop being so damn sensitive. Get the hell off social media. Get back to socializing. Get back to celebrating the differences that we have as people in terms of our color, in terms of our political stance, in terms of our religion, in terms of our sexuality and our genders. Let's get back to celebrating, enjoying, and understanding the differences, but most of all, laughing, because we may not agree, but you know what I love about doing stand-up is we may be on two different sides of the fences. I may be Democrat, you may be Republican. We're both sitting in the same room, and there's a political joke that said, and wow, we both laughed at it. That's the art of comedy. It brings you together, doesn't tear you apart.
Let's switch over to The Daily Show, where Trevor Noah vacated his position as host last year. How did the opportunity to guest host come about? It's obviously a very different kind of comedy from stand-up or sketch comedy.
Yeah, it was the opposite for me. It was sit down. I felt like a little kid. Like I was at the desk and I just kept moving. Like your teacher tells you sit in the corner and you just like, but I found my pockets to scramble in, right? So it's definitely different. I'm not used to that type of medium. And I guess that's why I did it. That's why I took on the challenge, right? So I do a lot of things that I wouldn't say is like something that I'm even like passionate about or it's my strength. It's a lot of stuff uncharted territories, things I've never done. And I think that it's important to challenge yourself just as an artist, right? I think if I was just a comedian, that's one thing. I try to I'm trying to go on an artist journey, and that's not just with like doing stand-up. I can't always do what I'm comfortable at. I have to stretch so that I'm comfortable everywhere. And this was new, and my manager, Michael Rotenberg at Three Rocks, and my agents, Alyssa Bauer, and came to me with this opportunity, and they said, "You're doing it." And I was, because I was hemming and hawing. I was like, I don't know that. They was like, "You're doing it." Michael was like, "You're doing it." I was like, "Yeah, but I got this thing, you're doing it. But I got the special, you're doing it." And I was like, "All right, well, I guess I'm doing it." And because I guess when things are new, there's you like to give your put your best foot forward, right? And you like to do that when you're comfortable. And I think what Michael was telling me is what I often tell myself is, you don't know what you are until you try it, right? You don't know how ready you are for something, right? And he's like, "You're like one of the most appropriate artists I know." He's like, "If I put you on a morning show, you're funny to women. If I put you on a night show with Jimmy Fallon, you're funny to that nighttime audience. If I put you on an afternoon drive, you're funny to that. You're funny everywhere you go." He said, "You're just doing it." And I said, "All right, I'm gonna do it." And I said, "Not only am I gonna do it, but I'm gonna have fun." And once I did that, and you let go and you get there and you're working with this great staff of people. When I tell you these writers, like, amazing, like the work that they do every day to sit there and go, you're racking your brain, what's funny, and you can't fail. You got a show to do. No matter what happens, 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, you got a show to do. 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, you got to run through. You got a real ass run through with sketches and things, and you're looking at you're reading teleprompter, and you got to kind of get to know it, but you can't really memorize it. You just got to be a really good reader. Like, everything, speed reading, everything plays in this little bit of time. And you have to remain calm as things are going by in a blur. You get slow up. All right. And then I read something, I get excited about a joke, and then I'll just animate. And what they loved about me is I was willing to try, right? All right, it's like, if it's a terrible joke, don't say it. I was like, "No, I'm gonna give it a shot." And I would do it 3 or 4 times. Like, "Oh my God, you're so kind." So we shoot it right away. "Why are you giving it extra shots?" I was like, "Because as a writer, I want I want to give it a fair shot. Sometimes we tank it as talent. We tank the joke. And I feel like if it's a good joke, I want to make sure I at least gave it a scout's try. And then we can shoot it. But I want everybody to know that man, this is a collective effort and a team effort. Every joke that lands, we all did it. And the producers, Jen, and I mean, when I say it's a well-oiled machine, it's a well-oiled machine. And I come from, a well-oiled machine. My family, my brother Keenan, who, did In Living Color, and as a 13-year-old, 14-year-old, I got to sit there in that writer's room with those brilliant minds and watch things be created. And it kind of reminded me of that, except if we did it daily. And I just think the opportunity to work those 4 days, I found a family in 4 days. Like, we were all sad that that it was over, because it was a blast to do, and a lot of work, but I really found joy. And if you look at and everything was going viral, we had all these sketches that we do. And the thing is, I didn't try to in my youth, in my insecurity of my youth and the arrogance of my sense of humor, I might have tried to make the Daily Show the Marlon Show. And I think that's a mistake. So when I walked in, I said, "I'm going to be Marlon on the Daily Show. This is the Daily Show." Nothing about the Daily Show is going to change. All I'm going to do, it's like you made the mac and cheese is beautiful. I'm just going to throw a little bit of Larry seasoning. That's all. You won't even taste it. You put it, sprinkle it very lightly on that, and just bring, and I got this funny character I thought would be fun to introduce the mayor. They embraced the ideas, and and it was a collective effort, and nothing I didn't want to stand out. I just wanted to stand in. I wanted to be a fun show. And for once, because sometimes Daily Show could get heavy at times, right? Or, it depends on who's the host and what they care about. For me, it was about bringing me to that show, the things I care about, kids going to after school programs, and, being from the projects of New York City. I just gave money with Amazon to go send 150 kids to summer camp because I knew how important summer camp was for me. It kept me out of trouble. I wouldn't be me if I didn't, have summer camp and, after school programs and the Hudson Guild. And that's what I did my deep dive on, because it was important to me. It has to be authentic, and I wanted it to be authentic. I rebuilt their gym in the community center because that's the gym I used to play when I was a kid. It's the thing that, besides my brothers and my sisters and my wonderful parents I had, that kept me off the streets. I had a place to go where I could be creative, and I could play basketball and sports, and there was acting classes, and so I give back to that, and they allowed me to use the platform of the Daily Show to promote what I really cared about, which is my neighborhood in Hudson Guild and all these poor neighborhoods across the country, because poverty still exists. And I'm just tired of acting like it ain't, and it doesn't. And whatever I could do to give back and use my platform, and Daily Show allowed me to do that. And like I said, I didn't try to change the Daily Show. I just tried to be the best Marlon I could on the Daily Show. And really, I don't think the show's so great, you don't need to change it. It don't matter who's the Daily Show with. The Daily Show works. And so you have to walk in there humble, and you have to, be willing to put yourself aside and join the crew. And that's what I did.
And there's, of course, the interview component of the Daily Show. Was that something that was challenging, or did you feel like that came naturally? Because it definitely comes across very natural.
Oh, it's challenging as hell. You see how long my answers are? I could talk. Marlon could talk. Oh, sometimes I wanted to ask the people the questions and I'll answer it themselves. Sometimes I would ask them questions just so I could hear myself talk. But no, I really enjoyed the asking questions. That's something I've never done. I've never been on the other side of that. So it was fun. It was fun because you have to read the cards because you don't know what your next question is. Like, you don't have time to remember the whole show. So you got these cards in front of you, and you got to wait for the camera to be on them so they don't see you looking down at your cards, acting like you're interested in what they're saying. I really wanted to hear what they were saying. So I would look down real quick and then know what my next question is. And I would stay in the conversation, because if I had something fun to add to what they were saying, or something engaging, then I would do that. And then making sure you get the business. I was lucky enough to have, Omar Epps, who's like my dear friend from, we went to performing arts high school together, and he had just written this book. And I was like, yo, come on. And that was a fun interview, because it was like, you're just sitting in our living room and we're just cracking jokes and having a good time. And I think those are the best interviews. It's like when I go do Fallon, what I love about when I go on Fallon's show is he just lets me go be funny. He just asks me questions and we just have a really fun conversation. And sometimes, Jimmy could sit at that desk for a long time and he just sit there. But I have him acting silly. I get him to get up and oh, and go towards the camera. And it's just about whatever you do, I learned this. It's just about having fun. It's entertainment. And you want people to have fun for whatever time they're watching you, to forget about all the things that's going on in their life, and they want to be entertained. However that entertainment comes, comedy's subjective. But at least you attempted to be engaging, to rid people of their problems so that they have fun. And all I try to do now is, within that fun, I try to add a minute or two of heart. give them something to feel. And that's maturity. And when I was younger, coming from parody, you don't give a F about no heart, just all about the jokes. And we telling hard jokes. You come up in sketch, there's no heart in sketch. And the only heart we bringing you in sketch is with Drake taking it deep and just to drown you. You know, when Homie the Clown has a little bit of heart, you know he's going to hit you with the sock afterward. But in sitcom, you got to let the heart land. And that's the maturity of, like, when I came in the game, I was like 18, 17 years old, right out of high school, at 1 year of college. And over time, you just allow yourself to mature as a man and as an artist, and your point of view and your perspectives and what's important. And what's important is that not just people laugh, but people learn and people feel good. You got to let them feel good. So everything I'm doing, whether it's the Daily Show, it's not mean-spirited. You could tell jokes about Republicans, you could tell jokes about Democrats, you could tell jokes about Black people, white people. What is your intention? Is your intention to make them laugh, or is your intention to hurt them? If your intention is to make them laugh, then try to tell a joke that makes the whole world laugh. It should be inclusive, right? Everything should be inclusive, right? And not punching down on, but you're building them up with humor.
Well, I want to congratulate you on your work this season on The Daily Show, on God Loves Me. You know, it's been an absolute pleasure talking with you. I could talk with you all day.
Thank you.
You know, thank you again, and congratulations.
Well, thank you. My greatest hope would be that I could get Will, Jada, and Chris to all come to a screening of God Loves Me, and hope that they all laugh and enjoy, and afterwards we just go have a drink or go have some tea and all heal, because I think that was the purpose of God Loves Me. And for all of us, anything in your life, it's not too serious to laugh at. And remember, we're all special. Thank you.
Thank you very much.